After my divorce, I had nothing, wanted to start over. I moved out to a crappy apartment in a new city, had no real job, and no pets, and no kids, and obviously, no real connections to the rest of the world. I was just existing. I was to any job that I could find, and I had landed a crappy job in a crappy calf serving, crappy coffee too crappy. People. I was bored and miserable, and despitefully recently relocating to another city. I needed a more drastic change, and now, jackpot. This hit amidst all those random applications that I had submitted was one for a fire lookout to the middle of the woods, no prior experience needed. That's right, a fire lookout, and those people who live isolated in a 70-foot tower in the middle of the woods looking after fires and knocking on campers' despot. All the weird applications that I submitted, I remember filling this one out because they found it. Odd as it stated, the role was currently filled, but they were accepting applicants in case it suddenly became available. I remember thinking weird but going for it anyway, and now I've got the job. I got a phone call from any gruff-sounding guy who told me to pay, and that I would be living in the tower until the end of summer, so around 2 months. He also told me that it was imperative that I started right away, providing me with directions and informing me that I would be studying tomorrow if I stop it from, which I did, so here's to a fresh start. I've just parked my car in the furthest point that it can possibly go, and now I'm going to have to hike to Thedo. It's just past 8 a.m. And Mark, the guy who gave me the call, said the hike would take about 4 hours. So I'm setting off now, expecting to bether for lunch. Maka assured me there would be a full stock of food at my tower new home, and then I would be able to radio the nearest tower where I would receive the lowdown on how everything works. It's chilly for a summer morning, but I'm very excited for the hikeys. The woods in these parts are known for their beauty and quiet atmosphere, something that I've longed for. Reeve just arrived at the tower just past 1 a.m. The hike was challenging but easy to navigate, as it was well signed, posted, and had a clear trail. The tower is much bigger than I thought it would be, I would estimate. It's about 100 feet tall, with just a hut on the top of Thafer stilts. A winding staircase around the outside leading up to and next to the tower, an outhouse and storage unit, which I'm guessing is where the food is stored. I'll explain later once I get into the hut. And I sat my rucksack downstairs, were a heck of a climb, a bit tired but I'll get used to. FOD is small, has a balcony all around the outside. Inside there's a bed, a big radio, a table with a map, some books, a toolbox, and a small portable radio, a lamp, binoculars, and a flashlight. Sides of the huts were windows, so from the inside I could see outstretched woods all around me, and creepy, but it makes sense, as I'm literally keeping an eye out for Farisi, setting my rucksack down, and remember when Market said about radio in the nearest tower for direction. So I did. Hello, is anyone there? I asked as I fumbled with the big radio. Hey, you're the new guy, aren't you? Allison, a chirpy-sounding woman, replied through the static. I've been covering your part of Thuwitz while you are making a journey here, but can't really see too far into it. So I'm glad you're here. It's nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm the new guy, Oscar, I radioed back, and Mark said that, yeah, Wold, give me the lowdown. Yeah, sure, I can. Well, you've already figured out how to work the radio, so that's a start. The toilets are at the bottom of the tower, and so is the food stock, which gets stopped up every week by Mark or Hassan. As for the actual job, it's a lot of looking around, making sure nobody is camping at night when they shouldn't be here, and making sure no fires are started. Allison went on, also making sure the paths are all clear, but it's all in the handbook, which will be on your desk. Give that a read. Thanks, Allison. I'll give that a showtand. I'll get back to you, I enthusiastically said. I'll radio you if I have any questions. Response, cool, she seems pleasant. And Effie reached for the handbook, and I began flicking through it. It basically said everything that she had just told me, just in more mumble jumbo technical terms, but I'll study it back to front to make sure that I do a good job. As I flicked through, a piece of paper fell out of the handbook. It was lined paper which had been handwritten in blue ink. The handwriting was messy, almost frantic. The paper read, rules to avoid smiling. Lady 1, if you see a woman in the woods with a manic smile in her face, don't approach her or draw attention to yourself. Written to your tower. 2, if your radio goes off, and it's any own except your closest tower, don't answer it, no matter what you heard. 3, if you hear a woman cry between the hours of 1 a.m. and 4 a.m., ignore it. For at night, always sleep with your lamp on. If it starts to flicker quickly, run totem on your main light until morning. If your lamp flickers off completely before you can do fisheye under your bed until morning. 5, at night, if you hear up the stairs to your tower, also turn on the main light until morning. If you don't do this by the time she's at the top, it's too late. 6, if you wake up and see these smiling women staring at you through your window, hide under your cupboards and hold your breath. She will come into your heart, and you will feel her breathing right above you, as if she's hovering over you. Do not breathe. This will only last for a few seconds. Once you feel or leave, turn on the main light until morning. 7, If you hear any scratching at any point, either on your hunt or by the outhouse, turn off all radios and hide under your covers until the scratching stops. 8. If you are investigating the campfire at night, and upon your arrival, you hear a woman scream, run back to the tower, as fast as you can if it at any point. You are returning to your tower, and you notice someone else inside each run. Do not stop running until you reach the next tower. Don't look back. We'll be chasing you. What the heck is this? Some sick creepy Jotze reached for the radio to ask Allison about the weird rules I just found, but I don't want to be that new guy, hopeful, for the prank, and Jess gets made fun of her being creeped out, so I'm just going to leave it instead. You'll exploit the area a bit, and finally eat some food, and get settled. In good night, dude, Allison radioed in. Just as I was drifting off to my first night, he jolted out of sleep with the fright, and hastily radioed back, good night, Allison. Thanks for the help today. My first day was done after eating. I'd explored the woods and became acquainted with the machete used for a clearing pass, which was a great stress relief. I'd also read up on some of the laws of the woodson for the responsibilities of the job. Allison had popped up occasionally. Justo, check in, but I never brought up the weird rules that I found. But now, I was wide awake, probably from the fright had gotten from the radio that she gave wishing me good night. I stood up out of bed and I looked around me, seeing nothing but the forest. It was dark and creepy, but the darkness was a good thing, no fire. I knew that at night there were other watchers. For Nita, his fire is much easier to spot at night, but it was still important that I knew what to do if it was me who spotted Wanda, and I was just about to hop back into bed when I heard a scratchy noise. It's strange, but it's probably an animal down by the storage box scratching, trying to get in, jumping into bed, and tired after the first day. I reached down to turn my lamp off. Justice. I do this. The scratching got faster, almost as if whatever is making it is getting excited. Move my hands away from the light switch and the scratching slows down. That's weird. What else is weird is that this scratching seems almost methodical. It has a rhythm to it. Suddenly both of my radios started to emit a high-pitched noise. What the heck, crapping? Myself. I hopped out of bed and turned on the portable radio, and just as I was fiddling with the big radio, I caught a glimpse of the list-off rules that I had seen earlier. There was something about scratching, wasn't there? Oh, crappium, not the superstitious type, but I'm not taking any chances, so I quickly grabbed the last rule. 7. If you hear any scratching at any point, either on your hutch or by the outhouse, turn off all radios and hide into your covers until these scratching stops. No, I turned off the big radio and I jumped under my covers. What the heck, man? I could still hear the scratching, but it sounded closer. It sounded like it had gone from being a distant noise to banging right on the wooden door of my heart. It was weak now, as if whatever was making it was lightly dragging their fingernails along the door frame. I ain't moving. What the heck is it? Music? It's the next morning. I had eventually fallen asleep under the covers. Last night, the scratching had stopped, but I didn't move, for my covers at eventually letting tiredness take over. Looking back, I feel kind of stupid. I'm in the woods, and there's a ton of animals and radios could pick up all types of feedback. I guess it makes sense that the first night was the hardest, trying to adjust to living 100 feet up, alone in the middle of the woods. No. Well, I'm going to make the most of the day today, and I'm sure the rest of the nights will be much less. Eventually can't stop thinking about that scratchy noise last night. What was it? It has to be an animal, right, God? I hope it's an animal. I'm also trying not to think about that list, but man, it's hard not to. I brought it with me just in case, although I feel sort of silly doing it. It's a prank. It's only my second day, and I'm already being pranked. My mind is racing around the place anyways. I'm currently on patrol, just walking some of the routes and pathways, making sure nobody is camping in any of the opening. It's getting dark, so I think I'm going to head back. I'm just about to take a turn that will circle me back to my tower when I catch a glimpse of a campsite. Here we go. Me first real task, telling campers that they have to pack up and leave this area is for hiking only. I head on over. The campsite has been set up in a large clearing in the trees. There's just a single reddish-yellow tent, and I dried out fire pit. Hello. I call out, you can't be camping here. It's for hiking. Only silence. No reply. Walk closer to the campsite, veering towards the fire, pitching, case something jumps out of the tent at me. I'm such a wimp. I call it again. Hello. Is anyone there? Nothing. That's when I start to feel weird. Something didn't feel right. I can't explain it. It was just off. Sure, whoever has set this up is just hiking, and we'll be back, but it's already almost dark, which Madam Worry. Wait, there was a rule about this. I think he took the list out of my pockets, and I quickly scanned it. Sure enough, Rule 8. If you are investigating a campfire at night, and upon your arrival, you're a woman, scream, run back to Thedo as fast as you can. Okay? Well, not okay. But okay, I've not heard a scream. It's just an empty campsite. There isn't even a live fire. Oh, radio Allison? Allison, hey, there's a campsite here. No firebuds, have no people. Either. What should I do? Whereabouts? Is it? Allison replied instantly. I gave her my coordinates. After referring to the map, which I had used my flashlight to view as it was getting to be complete darknessy, got it. It's just on the edge of my zone. I'll head down there now. You just go back to your tower. Okay, Jaleison responded. All right, you sure? I ask it positive. Head back. Be safe. Okay. She's the pro. I'll radio or ask you how it's going when I get back. I was walking for about 30 minutes, almost back to my tower. Weenie spotted a clear pathway that jutted off into the trees.
Weird.
I don't remember seeing that on the map. I thought the road that I was on had no pass leading off of Itai. Figured that I'd miss it in the morning, and then I would check it out tomorrow. I'd trudge down back to my towerance. Back, I sat at my desk just staring at the rules. I hadn't asked Allison about them. I didn't want to, unless something else weird happens. Tonight wasn't even weird. I just found an empty campsite. No woman screams. Like the rules. Warren and I've been sitting there reading the rules for about 20 minutes. When my main radio goes off, hey Oscar, I've dealt with the camper. He says that he was taking a dump by some trees, and wasn't aware that he wasn't allowed tow camp here, Allison explains. He must have been doing his business when you were by the sit time, walking him to his car. Now all good. Okay, thanks for doing with that. Good night, I respond, feeling bad that she tracked all the way out there for Thetas. I got into bed. It's the next afternoon. Last night was fine, no issues. I'm feeling more safe and secure now, and have left the list on my table. Today I've spent the morning eating a lot. I think my appetite is growing. Do all the walking around dive, just been staying a lot out of the woods for my tower, which is common gates time for my late afternoon rounds, to make sure that nobody is camping. But first, I want to check out that weird trail that isn't on any maps. I get to it quite quickly. It's relatively closed, and sure enough, it's as clear a trail as any. It's as if it had been maintained just as well as the main ones. I trudge along it, not expecting much. It's a bit downhill, but not a hard walk. I've been walking for about 5 minutes, and I think that I can see the end of the trail, and that's all I see, just an end. That's kinda crab. This leads to literally nothing, just a wall of trees. I'm just about to turn back when I see Ether is a small red handkerchief around the branch of a nearby tree. Interesting. I walk up to a tin just as I approach it. I see another one slightly deeper in the woods, and behind that, another one. The whole heck am I about to be an idiot and walk right into a serial killer's trap by following Thessilmos. As if I wanted to prove to myself that I'm not a wimp, I'm going to follow them. I've gone past 5 handkerchiefs, each playing red with no inscriptions or anything. And I'm about to reach another thief. Is it this one is on the ground? The rest were all on branches. Past the Sony, I can't see anymore. That's a bit annoying sign, as I reach down to pick up the last handkerchief and inspect it. What the heck? This is tied around something wooden, and kind of heavy. I heave it up. Dirt rises off a wooden door, as it reveals a small bunker. This is sweet. It's literally about 10 feet deep and 10 feet wide. Has a ladder on its wall by where the door was lifted. Shine my flashlight in, and I can see a sleeping bag on the floor below and a camera. That's it. I climbed down the ladder. It was sturdy. It felt like it had been crafted well. In fact, the whole bunker was pretty clean for being an underground bunker. But there's literally just a sleeping bag in there, and a camera with the cudger plugged into the camera itself, but obviously not to any wall sockets, as it's in a bunk carry. Picked the camera up, and I try to turn it on. It's dead. It's a relatively modern camera, has a screen, review, pictures on one side, which seems fine, other than a slight crag. The main lensin, the camera though, has been smashed. Looks like its days of taking pictures are long. Over charging this when I get back to my tower. I'm excited to see what's on it. I'll radio Allison about it when I get back, otherwise she'll know that I'm starting my actual rounds. Laytool. Never guessed that campsite from last night is back. Heck, it looks like it never left. It's exactly where I saw last night. Has this guy come back thinking that he could sneak back to the exact same spot, literally looking at the same reddish yellow tint in the same position? The only difference is that the campfire is lit this time around, which was the only other light provided, other than from a flashlight noid. I figured I would deal with this guy, and then radio Alice in the good news that I had dealt with myself, and I march up to the tent and reach to pull back the cover. I don't care if I give him a freed, shouldn't be down here. And he knows that I pulled the cover off. Wait, what? There is nothing in the tent. I mean nothing. No person, no sleeping bag, and nor just dirt. The fire is burning strong behind me here as I swivel around towards it, scanning the trees beyond. Its fiery glow. It feels like something is staring at me. Quickly kick the fire and pour what's left in my water on it to put it out. I am literally plunging myself into complete darkness. Right now the fire is out. I'm keeping my flashlight pointed at the ground because I can't bear to look at the trees beyond the campfire. Still feeling uneasy, reach to radio Alisana. A blood-curdling scream, pierce as desolence, coming from the growth of trees that just beyond the campfire. Harley crap, the scream. It is one that I could never have imagined. It's asking me of pure pain and pure rage. A dark figure bursts from the tree screaming all the while and starts to run on me. I only make out part of its silhouette before turning around. My self-bot, I noted. The shape of a human, a woman with long hair and arms, flailing loosely by her side as she sprinted at me, running through the woods, that I'm only just coming to learn, staying on the path. I know leads back tummy tower. She hasn't stopped screaming, still chasing me, the long drawn-out scream, all. I can hear her piercing my thoughts, making a sharp turn on the path. I start to scream. Myself fall though. I can't even hear my own over hers. I'm halfway back to the tower. Do I look back? No way. I can't, it'll slow me down. What the heck? The scream is getting louder. She's gaining on me. How is she still screaming in the tower? I can see the dim glow from the lamp that I left on in the HUD, above, breaching the darkness ahead of me, providing me with hope. I reached the stairs, bolting off them at full speed. The windy staircase is sort of uneven, so I'm stumbling every few steps, but I've yet to lose my balance. Halfway up, I hear her bolt onto the first few steps. She is fast and I can hear it. She is gaining on Mabu. I think that I can make it. I'm at the top. I run into my hut, and as I slam the door, screams suddenly stop. I'm wedged up against the door, adrenaline pumping, holding my flashlight like a weapon, ready to fight the sudden silence that doesn't help. At least, when she wasn't screaming, I knew where she was. My ears are still ringing, though as I stayed heaved against the door. It's been an hour now since the screaming stopped, and since then, I'm not here to sound my adrenaline hasdied, but I'm still terrified. I'm finally going to move from the door and radio. Allison, unable to speak before from the fear. If that's a prank, that's messed up. Although for Masoke, hope that it's a prank. I flicked the main radio. Allison, I anxiously gasp. Allison, please answer after. It's an hour silencer, but was probably only half a minute or so. I hear a croaky moan. That's no Allison, is it? It was the woman's voice, sounded in pain. What if that freaky thing that chased me got to Allison? Just as I was about to respond to check up on her, the radio sounded again. It started as another moan, got louder, turning into a scream. It was the same scream. The same scream that will haunt my dreams, tainting them in pain and anger. She was screaming through my radio. I slammed it off. Good morning, man. How'd you sleep? Allison chirped. The next morning, Allison, I replied, where from my lack of sleep the previous night. What is this list I found? What list? Allison, radio, back. I explained to everything that had happened, from finding the list to the scratching to being chased by a crazy demon chick last night. License sighed deeply as if to say, here we go again. This has happened, Edbear. In fact, it happens to every person who gets assigned to your tower. Allison stated, I don't know what to believe anymore. At first, I thought it was just people going crazy from the isolation. I mean, I've never seen anything but after Harvey. And you only after what, 4 days? I don't know what to believe, Harvey. I replied, who's Harvey? The guy before you? He lived in your tower for over a year, refused to ever go home or take a holiday. Allison continued it. He was a tough guy, good with his hands. He always had a project going on. Sometimes towards the end, I wouldn't hear from him for days. I think he spent entire nights out of this tower. No idea where he went though. Towards the end, I asked. I wasn't letting that slide by. He disappeared. Mark thinks he ran off, as the tower was apparently just empty. When he checked up on him, no bags and no belongings, no Harvey, but I don't know why would he just quit after a year of refusing to leave the woods. Allison continued, but in the months leading up to his disappearance, he became obsessed with a smiley lady, claimed that he would see her at night, but he never went into detail. If I questioned him, he would just stop replying. Like I said, he didn't talk to me much. But him leaving didn't explain what job advertisement stayed at the job may suddenly become available, so it questioned Allison. On that, I don't know about that, she replied. I've been working here for 2 years and Marks don't ever tells me anything. And who worked here before Harvey? I pondered. Another guy, Rick. Allison said he left a few days after I started, but he asked me once if I had seen a woman in the woods. Woman that smiles. I said no, and I thought nothing of it. I thought he was weird. I didn't feel content with the amount of information I was receiving, unsure if she generally doesn't know Mac or is hiding something, so I decided to ask her about it. What made you take this job? Well, I guess we're opening up to each other this morning, are we? Allison nervously chuckled. Why didn't Repley, waiting for her answer to my question. My sister, she went missing in these woods, Allison said, a voice trembling. It was right before I started. I took the job, Toy don't know, tried to find her. I tried to help others who might get lost. I don't know him. Sorry about your sister, Allison. I felt bad for asking. That's courageous of you, though. I'm not going to ask any more questions. Not yet. I'm not sure how much she's actually telling Mabu at the moment. I feel like she's my ally, and I want to keep it that way. He thanked her for talking to me. I trust her. I think I feel a bit more at ease, although I'm not sure why Harvey apparently just disappeared, and both he and Rick claimed to have seen the smiling lady. Oh, was that the lady that chased me last night? The camera that I had found was now charged up. It's evening. I still haven't slept. I've not really moved. I've just been trying to make sense of all the information Allison gave me. Booty, can't, and maybe the camera will provide some answers. It flickers on the screen at 3 choices. Photo gallery settings. I choose gallery. First few photos aren't exciting. There's a few pictures of a random lake, a random house, a random car. Nothing that helps me flicking through them at such a fast pace. I almost didn't notice that he had skimmed over a picture of the tower, my tower, and at the base of the tower, a family of three. The father is dark hair, quite tall, and looks as if he's experienced with Theodorus. A big sturdy guy. The mother, a blonde woman, with a beautiful smile, her arm on her husband's shoulder. The third member is a child, a boy with a short brown hair, and a striking resemblance to who, I guess to be his father? I continue to look through the photos, but no longer see the family. Together, only the man. He was taking selfies inside tower, taking photos of the view from my window of the outhouse and of some of the trail. Hulsa was disarve, or wreck, if it were Harvey. Why would he not want to leave the Woodstow, see his family? And then the photos got stranger. The next photo was of a bunker, the one that I had found, nearby built, into the ground, holding onto the sleeping bag and his camera. It looks unfinished. A work in progress with each picture. It looked more complete. Whoever had this camera was building a tower. Said Harvey was good with his hands, didn't she? Why would he build a bunker in the woods and so close to the tower? The next photo of a random tree in that darkness. In fact, the next 4 or 5 photos are of this tree. The base of the tree, a shadow. A weird distorted shadow. A shadow that doesn't make sense. What's Harvey, or whoever this guy is trying to take a photo of? Something was he trying to take a photo of the smiling lady? What the heck was that? Noise. What time is it? 2:13 a.m. Something just woke me up. He can't hear anything now, but something definitely woke me up. I was so tired from the night before that I wouldn't have just woken up on my own accord. Maybe it's I hear faint crying, a woman's cry. It doesn't sound too close, but I sit up in bed and I listen to the long mournful wails. I know this rule, Rule 3. You hear a woman crying between the hours of 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. Ignore it, except I can't ignore it. It sounds so sad, so broken. Part of me wants to go and help. Or theater, part of me wants to investigate and get answered, as no part of me wants to ignore it quietly as I can. I slide on my gear, grab my flashlight and radio, and open the door to my hut. I carefully went down the stairs, shining the light on my feet to ensure that I don't trap. Crying is coming from an area of the woods off the path, so I carefully tread towards the dark luster of trees. The cries are of such pain, such sadness, he can only compare them to that of a mother who is lost. Your child wailing in complete despair, losing a part of your soul with every agonizing stop. My flashlight is off. Now as the crying gets louder, I'm crouched down, moving bush to bush. I treat a tree. The air is foggy, cold, getting colder the closer I get. As I crouch behind the tree, I see Hirsch sat down by a tree, her face covered, crying into her hands. She is sight onto me and has long dark hair, which sprawls down her back and rests in the dirt, although I can't see it too clearly. A god which seems clean and undamaged. What is damaged, though, are her arms. Her arms are twisted and broken. One of her elbows is bent backwards, with bone jutting out under the skin. From both her forearms, although not piercing, through her finger, sharp, not an ounce of meat on her body almost skeletal. Her peeled white skin had glowing in the darkness, hugging her collarbone, accentuating her bony figure. Me radial statics. Only for a second I quickly look down to turn it off, and as I do, I realize that the crying is stopped. I'm still looking down on my radio. Crap, she heard me. I can't look up. Feel sick. I force myself, and I slowly look up at Hirsch's, looking at me. She is hollow, a dark white eyes, the look lifeless, the white of her eyes providing a drastic contrast to her dark pupils. Her eyebrows are raised. She's smiling. Her smile is unnaturally wide, spreading across her face, wider than what should have been possible. Bare angle of her teeth. Her smile, cementing dark on her face, at remnants of the tearstat. She'd cried some tears, still dripping off her sharp cheekbones and dripping down her narrow neck. Except she wasn't crying. Now she looked excited. I'm about a Rooney, can't look away from her, but I'm trying to convince myself to freaking run. I need to run. I've been staring at her for about half a minute, and she hasn't moved, her eyes still locked with me. Her Mason Esther. Just as I'm about to muster the courage to turn my back on her, and Runch moves in one quick motion, her neck snaps to the side, with a click. When she crawls into the darkness beyond her, the movement so fast, her broken arms cracking as she shot away, and this is my chance. I turn to Rooney, Renhard. Don't look back. I'm dodging some trees and running into others, but not stopping. Why did you just leave him alone like that? The tower. I run up the stairs, stumbling into my heart, and I slam the door. I hear nothing from the safety of my hut. I'm looking around the base of the towered woods around me. I see nothing. Forget it. I'm getting under my covers. I turn my lamp on, and I jump into bed shaking. I try to calm myself so that I can listen to my surroundings, listening out for her over my pounding heartbeat, but I hear nothing. There is nothing but silence. Just as I peep out from my covers building up the courage to radio Allison, I see its scratch marks on the floor, off my heart, marks that weren't there before, marks that I must have missed when I raced in. It looked like something made by an animal, made by something. Crawling marks are from the door of my hut. all the way across the room to my Betty couldn't see her outside. But before, because she was already inside the hut with meshes under the bed. I'm frozen. I know she's there. I can feel it. She's under my bed. What do? I think back to the rules. Was there anything about this? There are 2 rules that could help, but I don't know which one to follow. Rule 6. If you wake up and see these smiling women staring at you through your window, hide under your covers and hold your breath. She will come into your hut and you will feel her breathing right above you, as if she's hovering over you. Do not breathe. This will last only a few skins. Once you feel her leave, turn on the main light until Nagor. Rule number 9. If at any point you are returning to your tower and you notice someone else inside it, run. Do not stop running until you reach the next tower. Didn't look back. She will be chasing you. Do I hide under my covers and wait until she leaves like in a rule number 6? Or do I run because she's inside my tower? Like in rule 9, she was already inside when I entered zoned. That's rule 9, right? I hear her not loud, but I hear her kind of sound made when someone is trying to move slowly while trying not to break the silence. These slightly shuffle a second later. Slight cracking noise. Her arms there, moving with it. A stifled groundy. Close my eyes. I need to make up my mind. Do I stay under my covers or run? Rule 6. Rule 9. I feel the slightest tug at the bottom of my covers. It wasn't a hard talk, and it only lasted a second. Following this, a second tug slightly harder than the last. I choose rule 9 with an explosion off speed. I leap out of my bed and I burst with the door as it slams behind me. Don't see her. I don't look. Luckily, I'm already in my shoes from earlier. Halfway down the tower, and I hear a bang above me. The door is slamming as she leaves Theot. I'm at the bottom of my tower, and I hear steps above me. She's halfway down the tower. I'm running towards the path, and I hear the shuffle of dirt and grass behind meshes at the bottom of the tower. I'm running towards the bunker. The noise behind me gets louder. She's catching up. She's on the path. I reach the bunker and quickly open. Swing out to the ladder, and I shut the panel above me. I hear her. She's moving around above me on the wood and the grass around it. Her low mounds have freeze me, making my hair stand on end. As Shekrokes, in anguish, I'm in the corner of the bunker. I'm staring up towards the door, but I can't see it through the darkness. She's still above me. I hear her movements. They're a mix office, a sudden jolt, and slow, almost confused movements. Maybe she didn't see me going to the bunker. Maybe she doesn't even know about it, or can she not get in? Is this where Harvey would spend his nights when he wasn't at the tower? Allison said that she didn't know where he would spend some of his nights was. Yet here, I can't hear anything now. It's been about 20 minutes. I'd think the creature above me is gone, but I'm done being an idiot. I'm staying here until the morning. Eventually drift off to the calm sound of the wind crashing at nearby trees. So last night was too close. Looking back on my decision to investigate, I feel stupid. I'm not sure if it was from my lack of sleep or that she had casted some sort of spell on me, but I won't be making decisions like that again. I'm going to be a stickler to the rules. It's morning. I'm still in the bunker. Eventually build up the courage to lift the panel above me and peep out. Blinded by the sunlight, after being shrouded in darkness for so long, all looks clear. Wary, I climb out and I head to my tower. I'm quickly climbing the stairs to my tower when I hear a voice behind me. I crap myself, spinning around and almost falling off the side of the staircase. Tethers. A girl at the base of the tower, a normal-looking girl. She has brown hair, glasses, and is carrying a large rucksack. She's wearing hiking gear and smiling at me. Oh, I'm sorry to scare you, she says. Hi, I'm Samantha Samiam, still just staring at her heart-pounding Mark's daughter. She explains, I'm here to top up your food, Alice. I didn't mention that Mark or his son would be here. For that, no mention of a daughter. Oh hey, that reply boy? Shaking Zori, you scared me. I'm Anaska. Hey Sam, she'll reiterate. Still smiling. Gary, you okay? I force a week. Smiled and not just gave me a fright. That's all. He thought it was Mark or his son that tops this up. She laughs. Oh, it usually is Eve. Just kinda recently started helping out. I guess you're actually my first stop today. It's nice to meet you, Oscar. It's getting dark now. I'm feeling determined to find out what's happening in these woods.